So it's that time of week again where we take a look at what I've picked up over the course of the past 7 days, and it's a considerable amount. So shall we take a look at what we've got and why this much? You probably know already. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new pickup video. What I've picked up over the course of the past 7 days, whether it may be in HMV, CEX, through Amazon, through eBay, whatever, wherever. Now this lot here, there's a lot there. September's a very busy week for releases, as it is. So there's that, combined with the fact that my post has been buggered for some considerable amount of time. I've not been getting stuff through. I took a trip down to the post office and they gave me piles. Some of this stuff goes back to the beginning of August, so that's the reason why there is as much as there is here in front of me at the moment. Not only that, I've also got one item early, which would have been a next week item, and it's just all just added up into what we have here. So let's get through them one at a time. Now it's bloody hot as I'm filming this. It's like 30 degrees outside. I don't know what it is in here. It's probably hotter than that. It's like an oven, so I am sweating like a cucumber in a female's prison. It's horrible. Anyway, let's take a look at what releases I got. So to start off with, now I got this off of Zavvi. It's the Bourne Identity 4K 20th anniversary limited edition gift set. It's come with steelbook in there and a little classified envelope with bits and pieces in, like Jason Bourne passport, ID card, some maps, things like that in there. It's on sale in Zavvi at the moment for 16 quid or something like that. Thusly I picked it up. However, this was meant to come a considerable amount of time ago. It didn't. Zavvi had to send me another copy of it because it never arrived. So, but I finally got it. So that's up first. So next up, a big release from this week, and that is the Fast and Furious 10, or Fast X as it's otherwise known, depending on which territory you are in. This is the German release. It's only a 4K. There's no Blu-ray in there. It's literally just a 4K release, steelbook. It's slightly different to the UK one in that it hasn't got the spot glossing on, which is a shame, but it's got the image through the middle of all the characters, or the primary characters at least, rather than just being the car on the front with the number 10. I think that's what the UK one is. It makes no never mind which one I really got, but yeah, so that's that. Then we have this here, and it is McVicker. It came out a couple of weeks ago on release. A sort of die-cut cover slip there to make it look like he's imprisoned. And obviously this stars Who singer Timothy, Roger Daltrey. Where am I getting Timothy from? Roger Daltrey. How do I grasp Timothy? Where did I get that from? I don't know. Roger Daltrey. Lead singer of The Who. Who? I hear you ask? Yeah, The Who. Yeah, old film. Then, in a CEX, I picked up season 1 of Hung, which is a sort of adult comedy starring Thomas Jane. He made it a few years after The Punisher. This was the only season to get a release. Like I said, it was £3, so I picked it up. I will have to bootleg the other seasons of it at some point, at some juncture. He plays a male prostitute in it, essentially. Steve Amell's in it as well, before he became Arrow. So that sort of shows you how long ago it was. But yeah, so Hung, season 1, £3. I remember enjoying it when it was on. Then I have this here, which is a steelbook. Bought this off of eBay. Again, one of these ones that was delayed in the post. And it is another steelbook for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This is the Skynet edition, where you access the extended version through entering a code and all this sort of stuff. Code's on the back. But yeah, so another steelbook. I've got maybe 3 steelbooks for Terminator 2, I think. Actually, I've probably got 4 now. From my 4th steelbook for Terminator 2. And I don't think it's the best in the franchise. That goes to number 1. I do have issues with that film. I've done video on it. Then I got, I got all 3 seasons, or latter 3 seasons, 5, 6, and 7 of A New Girl, the Zooey Deschanel comedy sitcom. These were bootlegged. We only got seasons 1 to 4 released in this country on DVD, and then they stopped. I believe they were released in Australia, I'll be honest, but the import costs and that, I might as well just bootleg them. It was a good series. It was a good series. I enjoyed it. Jake Johnson stars in it as well. He was Tom Cruise's mate in The Mummy. When he became a zombie, died. He had a small role in Jurassic World. He voices Spider-Man, Peter B. Parker in the Across the Spider-Verse movies. I like Jake Johnson. He brings a lot to that show. And then a blind buy, because someone recommended it to me. I forget why or who it was, but that is for Alpha Dog. And this is another one that took ages to come. And so much so that I got it refunded because it hadn't turned up, and then lo and behold it turned up. So I think that's from Music Magpie or someone like that. So, you know, it's only about £3, but refunded. Then we have, when I went out to my trip into Bromley Monday, I did pick up Sisu in 4K. Great film. This really is a good film, and probably would make my top 10 films of the year. It was a lot of fun, very grindhousey, very violent. He's a gold prospector. I forget where it is in Europe, somewhere like Greenland or something like that. The Germans are coming out, leaving, and they encounter him on the way. They kind of mess with him, and he goes after them and starts killing them and this sort of a thing. And he was an ex-military SAS, not SAS English, but I don't know if he was from Switzerland or somewhere like that. I can't remember what his backstory was, but he was ex-military in some, again, and he used to go out on his own and hunt down the Germans and all this sort of thing. And it's a right good time. It's silly, it's over the top, it's violent, it's brutal. It's this geezer killing Nazis. What can't you like? And body parts flying everywhere. It's stupid fun, but it's fun. It really is a fun film. Then we have another film that will probably make my top 10 of the year, and I love this film. I had to get the DVD of it though, because there was no Blu-ray, and I don't suspect there will be, and that's The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, starring Jim Broadbent. A beautiful, heart-wrenching story tale of this fella going to walk in like 500 miles or what it is to go and see this woman that's dying of cancer that he once worked with. To bring hope. He's opening his walk to her. So it has a little bit of an element of Forrest Gump feel to it, in the sense that when he's walking, he starts getting people following him, and the media, you know, telling his story and all this sort of thing. But it's a wonderful, wonderful film. Seriously, it really is very much worth watching. My son watched my review of it and said to me, "I've read the book." So I said to him, "Can I borrow the book?" Because I like to read the book that it's based upon. Yeah, he'd read the book beforehand, which has actually surprised me, to be honest. But yeah, The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. There we go. Now, big releases, big releases for this week that came out, and I've done individual openings for these. And the first one is Film Vault 005, Shawshank Redemption. Which obviously, you know, these are like 50 quid a piece. They're a lot of money, but you get all that stuff in them. And I know there's a lot of rhetoric about these being overpriced, and A year ago I did criticise them for being £50 and feeling that they were somewhat overpriced. However, this year I don't feel as they are as overpriced, because the prices of steelbooks have now risen to the point of £35 a piece. Just a standard steelbook like that one I showed you of Fast and Furious, for example. And then for £15 extra, you get everything that you get in here. It kind of put these a bit more into perspective. So much so that next year I won't be surprised if we see a price bump on these if they do a wave 3. But yeah, that's the Shawshank Redemption. Obviously, a fantastic film. I can't knock anything about the Shawshank Redemption at all. It's a glorious film, and yeah, it's certainly a favourite film of mine. Speaking of favourite films of mine, an all-time favourite film of mine, and that is the Film Vault 006, which was Jaws. Yeah, the 1975 Steven Spielberg classic. It's not the only version that I've got. I've got an Amaray version behind me. I've got a DVD version that Matt gifted me somewhere. I've got, it's around there somewhere, around the corner. I've got a steelbook of it down there. I have a 4K special collector's edition along the top somewhere, the one that came with a book and the lenticular on the front. And now I have this version here. And seriously, you release Jaws, I'm going to buy Jaws. Because I just love this film so much. It is the one film that, above all the others, that it's just best film ever made. My opinion, obviously, it's all subjective. But yes, that's a film that I love and adore. I won't have a bad word said about it. Shark still looks fake. Yeah. It's one of those ones where like people have come to me and said, you know, would you like a new version of Jaws, or would you like, you know, them to take that version of Jaws and give you a decent, realistic looking computer animated shark and take out the rubber one? To which my answer is no. No. Bruce the shark, and exactly how he looks, texture, everything. He's a character within that film as much as he is as Chief Brody or Quint or Hooper. He's as much as a character as what those are. You can't take that out of the film and replace it with something else and expect to get it to work for me. It has to be that shark in that film. It's like, I don't know, it's like taking away, you know, the DeLorean from Back to the Future and giving it a sort of revamp look in the film. Same film, just let's digitalise, let's do something digital to the DeLorean to make it look completely different. It's that kind of a thing, you know, it's a character. And then anyway, last pickup for the week, and this actually isn't out until tomorrow, which is Monday, as this is being shown Sunday. And that is for The Mask of the Phantasm, the Batman 1993 animated movie that sort of followed on from the Batman the Animated TV series of show. Yes, this is the HMV exclusive edition, which comes in a thicker box with a lovely steelbook. But again, you've only got the one disc in there, which is the 4K. But also it does come with a very nice little comic book, which I was surprised about, in that it actually reprints the comic book movie adaptation of this very film. So you can read the film here in comic book form, and it's obviously all drawn in that style of Batman animated cartoon. It's drawn in that style. I've probably got this somewhere because I do have most of the Batman the Animated Series comic books, and DC are publishing some at the moment called The Adventures Continue. The only gripe about this release is that this book here feels like it was made to fit within the steelbook, in that it is somewhat smaller, and it would be the perfect fit to sit within there. However, it's too thick. because of the page count, it won't fit in there. So what they've done is they've put it into a box, slip box like this, but because it's of smaller size and not the same size as the steelbook itself, it leaves you with a sort of, it goes further in, and it just leaves you with this sort of bad taste in your mouth that they've not done justice to what they could have done. Now, me personally, if they'd made that the size of the steelbook, just printed it that much bigger, it would have fit in perfectly. It would have even been even better had they made it square bound instead of like that, and glossy. It would have been a nice addition where it slides in as a booklet in there perfectly. That being said, I'm being somewhat overcritical in a sense, in that they could have given me nothing for it from HG. It could have just been the steelbook, which is what I expected. I didn't realise there was a comic book with it till about 2 days before I received it, and it said, "Oh, comic book." Okay, all right. I expected it to be a little comic book within, that sits within, that gives you one issue or something story, because a lot of them were standalone issues. If not, it would have been something to be continued, and you have to buy the trade paperback as an advert for the trade paperback of like. That being said, I am being somewhat overcritical with this release because I love Batman, the animated series. I do have them all on Blu-ray. I love the animated films, and for such a classic like this to be given a 4K release, I'm overjoyed by that. It makes for a great film. I love Sub-Zero as well. Sub-Zero was the film that came after this, Batman Sub-Zero, Batman Mr. Freeze. Again, that's a wonderful film. I'd love to have that in 4K. But yeah, no, Mask of the Phantasm, wonderful movie. Yeah. Anyway, so that was it. That was the pickups for the week. And there was a lot of stuff there. I'm aware of that. I can't not be aware of that. It's just staring me in the face. Even without all the backlog stuff, it was still a very busy week. That's what this time of year offers to us. This time of year offers up a very busy time of year for us. A lot of releases come our way. Yeah, so with the Film Vault stuff, you know, obviously we've got 2 other Film Vault releases coming at the beginning of October, I think it's October. I won't be getting those 2. I won't be getting those 2. What were they? 2001 and is it Apollo 13? Although good films, I don't feel the need to get them on the whole Film Vault range. With the 4 initial releases of Film Vault, the first 4 that came a year ago, I only got 2 of them, that being Blade Runner and 1917. And the only reason I really got 1917 is because I had vouchers and I got them both for, I think it was 35 quid a piece. The whole numbering stuff, and I've said this before, the whole numbering stuff, this sort of thing here, this is a tactic utilised by companies to make you buy, so you don't feel that you could miss a number. You know, for me, I've got numbers 1, 4, 5 and 6. 1, 4, 5 and 6. I ain't got 2 and 3. I won't have 7 and 8. That doesn't bother me. It shouldn't bother you either. It is a psychological... It's just a psychological tactic, nothing more, utilised by production studios who produce this stuff to make you want to own every one. Like you don't feel that you can miss out on a little number inscription on the side of the packet. It's pretty pathetic, really, in the grand scheme of things. But there we go. Anyway, so that's everything. DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, steelbooks, collector's box sets. It's all there in this week. This week has it all, or had it all, because we're at the end. So I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and see you all later. But I said that a bit too early. Let me know what you picked up this week. Let me know what titles you picked up this week yourself, if anything at all. Now I'll see you all later. Goodbye.